Good morning. My name is Michael R. Roser, and I am Chief Coaching Facilitator and co-founder of my company, Strategic Life Coaching, LLC. Please join me for this video and others at my website, abundantlifeslc.com. This morning, guys, it just is so motivational and self-actualizing for me because I believe that my story and my journey to get to this point is clearly to help other people, and I want to do that very desperately. And so I was given the gift by a longtime friend of mine that was on my list of somebody that has shown interest in the past in that pre-contemplative and contemplative beginning of a behavioral change. And so I checked in with him yesterday because it had been several months since we had talked. And he didn't pick up right away, but called me pretty quickly thereafter and said, Mike, holy cow, you know, I've been off the rail and I've been this and I haven't been working out and just life got to me and so on and so forth. And, you know, could you come by the house tomorrow at 7 a.m.? Excuse me. And of course, my answer to that was yes, I'd love to. And so we got together today. And I'd like to give you some basics. And again, guys, yesterday I ended the video with please send me where your hurdles are and what's going on in your life. And then I can address these videos specifically to those things that you're struggling with and things that I struggled with in the past, Lord knows. So what we talked about, you know, specifically was, you know, this idea of, you know, trying again to get rid of that negative narrative that, you know, I can't. And I have a basketball picture of me when I was 22 years old, a senior in college, shooting a free throw that my dad took. And I was in the prime shape of my life, a collegiate athlete. And, you know, I kept looking at that picture wanting to be that guy. And unfortunately, that guy's long since gone. I look at him and I know who he is certainly, but trying to be in the shape that I was at 22 is not possible. So we tried to then come to this conclusion of how can we become the best version of us right this second, right now? What can we do to be a better person right this second? And so my question to him was, well, who are you right now? And I heard, well, I've this and I'm a failure and I haven't been able to do, and I'm not changing the way that I want to, and so on. And the key to that statement, and guys, I can speak to it. I know where you were because that's where I was. This narrative that kept telling me I was a loser and I was never going to be anything in my life and so on. So that assessment session, guys, that we do, and I'll speak more about it, is designed to tell us who we really are. And what he was saying was he didn't want to commit to this program and has trouble committing to the program because he doesn't want to fail at it. He doesn't think he can sustain it. And that, guys, is at the heart of the issue. You have to become the person able to then commit to a plan going forward. And so that's the stage of behavioral change that I've been harping about because it was so important for me. So I had to get to a point where I was capable myself to take action on a plan and stick to it. Because what I wanted to become was carrying the day. What I wanted to be was going to propel me and commit me to being the person that I wanted to be, the best version of me that I can be. Well, what's the problem? Well, the problem is lots of things. Life comes at us and we run out of time and we get tired, and we've got kids that have come off the rail in this gentleman's particular instance, and he has to dedicate time to his children to help them get through what they're struggling with. And that's what we do as parents. But he got left behind in that. And now the guilt and the remorse of not following his own plan is starting to eat at him again. So what did he do? What did he try to do in the last 3 months, knowing that his situation wasn't what he wanted? Well, so here we go. he decided through reading and research this diet that was out there, and it was $1,800, and he invested that $1,800 and he tried it and it did not work. And so he now feels guilty that he spent $1,800 on something that isn't working. And I understand that. How many of us have bought a new boat or a car or changed our location geographically because we wanted to feel better and we thought that that would do it? Well, in this particular instance, it didn't. So I believe that he failed, and we talked about it on several levels. The first one is that he didn't become the person necessary to sustain that diet, meaning he didn't change internally inside because he still doesn't know what's going on internally inside of him. So he's unable to make that change and sustain it. So we have to go back and do some work, as I had to do, to find out who I really am and what I'm bringing to the table. That diet had adverse effects physically on him. So this diet has a lot of sodium in it, amongst other things. And I'm not saying that the diet isn't good, it just isn't good for him. Because what happened is, lots of diets have a lot of salt in them. So when you eat that salt, the food obviously tastes very good. You're like, wow, this isn't bad. This is really good tasting food. And I can do this. Well, then all of that sodium, the liquids that he's drinking, you get bloated and you have a full feeling, which is the idea. But then he found out that he has a tendency toward gout and swelling of his feet and his legs. And it was very difficult for him to get around because there was too much salt in the diet for him. And so he had adverse effects on that. And then that failure started to feed the old narrative. Every time I try to change, I fail. And after a period of years, in my case, of failing on these various things, failing that I couldn't stop drinking, therefore I couldn't, stay on a diet, therefore I couldn't exercise properly, and just failing at all of those things, over time, the weight of that, you start to believe that you are a failure. And that's not it at all. What we have to do is refigure and reconnect our thinking as it relates to how we're living each day. If our thinking's bad, the decisions and actions that we take on that poor thinking are also going to be bad, and we're going to get exactly the same things that we've always gotten because we're not changing enough. Okay? And I love this man dearly. I've known him most of my life, and I want to help him so badly. And I believe that today we started that process of changing internally and wanting that enlightenment and that discovery of who he really is. And therefore, then I can create a plan for him to have him achieve that, to be the best version that he can be. So what does that look like? Well, today I believe we started this discovery session. I believe that what I can do for him is a perfect fit because he's also my age. He also comes from a very similar socioeconomic background. He's a deeply religious man, and I think we're a great fit together, and we've made a commitment now again to start. So then we're going to do the assessment session, which again is designed to get us to know ourselves as best as we can. And then we're going to put together a transformation plan. And that transformation plan is going to be specific tasks that I can do each day, specific little things that we're going to accomplish, like that pound a week that we started here most recently over a 10-week period. I'm going to break down what he needs to do to burn that purposeful 500 calories every day. And so now each day that he does that, we're starting to change the narrative. I was successful just for today. And I have to tell you, the man's courage is immense to be able to pick up the phone and call me to say, I don't like the current situation I'm in. Mike, help me. And I want to, and I'm gonna. And he is gonna change just like I did. Last thing, we'll do the implementation part. Again, holding you accountable to this on a daily basis. And then you can put your head down and say, I'm a success. And he's my hero today because he made the phone call. Love you guys. Take care. Bye-bye.